But then in my neighborhood, because they say I talk like a white boy. They're like, oh, why you talk like that? And so it became it almost became like my life's duty to adapt to my environment.
Well, hello and welcome to Long Story Short Conversations with Kevin L. Long, where we have brief conversations about broad topics and where we seek to teach lifelong lessons for a life well lived. I'm excited today because our guest is not only one who is dear to my heart, but he's one of my very special and favorite people in the whole wide world. I want to begin by reading an excerpt of an article that was written on him in Double XL magazine a few years ago. It talks about how other rappers tend to rap about materialism and rap about lifestyles that are less than believable. But the writer says this, and I quote, "But Deniro is a little different. And this has nothing to do with the ceiling missing from his whip. The Charlotte MC mostly values music for its therapeutic properties and utilizes it as a confessional soundboard to air out his ideas on about, well, just everything. With a hefty voice that seems weighed down by a life of hardship, De Niro's content is less emotional sob stories than brutally honest tales of reality." Our guest today is an artist. Our guest today is a creative. Our guest today is a health and fitness enthusiast. Our guest today is a father. He's a mentor. He is the prototypical self-made Renaissance man. He is Dante Deniro Farrar. Dante, welcome, sir.
Man, thank you for having me. That was the intro. God,
Well, I can't take credit for it. I didn't write it.
That was the intro, man, and that took me back when you said double XL. I was like, wow, how long ago was that?
It's 2014.
Yeah, people don't even write articles no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just put you on Instagram. You're just on the shade room if
Right,
you're an artist
exactly.
now. So yeah, man, those were great times, man.
Yeah, that speaks to your longevity too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you spanned a time from written commentary to digital commentary.
Absolutely. We was doing physical CDs too.
Physical CD,
I was doing physical CDs around that time. 2014, I was still pumping. I was signed to Warner and still selling physical copies of my CD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what, 11 years ago?
Yeah, then I was hustling with Luddy before that. So, we 15 years in the game.
Man, I forgot about Luddy.
Yeah.
I forgot about Luddy.
Yeah.
I'm pleased to say that I was there really from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, before you started taking rap seriously.
Absolutely.
Or even thought you could rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man.
Man, listen, that was a journey in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I always knew I had the gift and the ability to rap because I love rap so much. Yeah. And I was always a prolific writer. I always loved writing. But I never liked writing music because it was so much discipline. It was the ideas were always on the tip of my tongue. I would think it and I could rap it. So I never really wanted to perfect the art of writing music. I felt it took too much time. So when I first started doing it, it was just freestyling. Everybody was like, "Yo, bro, you so dope. You could freestyle. You could do this. You should take this rap serious." And it's kind of one ear and out the other because there was no roadmap. There was no examples, right? And I don't know if it was like that with you and preaching. There has to be roadmaps. Like me, I got to see it. The streets, I could see it because my brother then was in the street. So I could see, oh, this is how you get money. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. With rap, I couldn't see it. I didn't know any rappers. And I did, but I didn't know anyone successful that I respected, And so, I just kept going.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. And I did.
That's the story of your life, figuring it out.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And a lot of what we talk about today is going to be centered around your life's journey,
Mm,
your life's journey into manhood, your life's journey into fatherhood, your life's journey into artistry,
yeah.
and everything else that you've done, man. And I'll say this at the beginning: words can't express how proud I am of the man that I've seen you become. And I'm very appreciative that you would take time out of your busy schedule to come and to hang out on the
Absolutely.
podcast with us, man.
Absolutely, man. When you told me you was doing, I mean, anything you do, I'm there 100%. Anything I do, I don't got to worry. You're
Yeah.
the only preacher front row at some of my shows,
I don't know if you should
and,
have
and,
said.
and no, I mean, but nobody knew,
Yeah,
nobody knew who you were. They just knew you were of support to me.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So that was always special to me, the
yeah,
way you would show up for me, because I knew that wasn't your world,
yeah,
and I knew the only thing that brought you into that world was your support for me.
yeah, yeah.
So
And I was kidding, man. We ain't even gonna edit that out because that's
what? Oh man, they know what's real.
yeah, they
They know
know what's
what's real.
real.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
your son, Joe.
yeah,
Joe rap.
yeah.
You'll never not show up for Joe. You'll
Right,
never not show up for any of the kids. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
You'll never not show up for any of us, no matter what we do. I ain't gonna say no matter what we doing,
Yeah,
but as long as it's something positive,
yeah,
and it's something that we really passionate about, you gonna show up.
yeah. You
Yeah.
you 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 took me somewhere else, so I'm going off script.
Come on.
But let's talk about showing up. And I think the first time that I showed up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what you mean at a show?
No, not at the
Oh,
show.
just in life.
The very first time.
Oh,
Because we've known
for
it.
me and Nick and Donovan at that summer camp?
Well, I've known you since then.
Yeah.
But I mean the time I showed up with Norman Butler. Me and Norm.
Oh, for Tony, for the case.
No, for your case.
Oh, and I thought I was finna go away.
Yeah, man.
Man, that was so long ago. You know what's so crazy? It's like I've been on a different path for so long. I really forgot about a lot of the stuff I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, when y'all came to court for me because y'all thought I was finna go away, and I walked away with I think they gave me 5 years probation.
Well,
Suspended sentence gave me 5 years probation, and then we went out to eat.
but you remember Norman argued that you shouldn't do time because the statute had changed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the statute had changed at midnight, and so Norman asked me, "Well, will you be his guardian, so to
Yeah,
speak?"
yeah,
And I said all this, no, certainly not to brag, but that was really the beginning of our bonding.
yeah.
You moved in the bachelor pad.
Oh God, man, that in and of itself was a whole nother chapter. It was like when you showed up for me, then it was like. But the crazy part about it is, even before we did what we did with Norman, before you showed up, I always knew I could depend on you.
Yeah.
And it would always be like, as long as I just showed up to the church, I could come and tell you whatever I was going through, whatever I was experiencing. But those experiences started extending outside of the church.
Yeah.
It started going beyond. On Sunday, I come, or I might go to y'all house. This was like, all right, come on, we're gonna take you in now.
Yeah.
And I remember at that point in my life, just not even knowing where life was gonna take me, whether I was gonna live, how that was gonna work.
Yeah.
That's how I was really living at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you brought that into your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a blessing to me. And I want to give you your flowers, no pun intended, because the balance that it brought to me, as not just as a father and father figure, but really a mentor to help meet somebody where they were, who wasn't my blood relative.
Right.
It really helped enhance me. And then it helped me to be able to really enjoy the process of transformation.
Yeah.
To see you, transform, but again, transform me and the environment in which I was living.
Yeah.
I mean, you was the cook in the house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You was Chef
yeah,
Boyardee,
yeah,
and it was just such a wonderful experience at 5401, man. And it's one of the richest experiences that I've ever had in life. And I want to thank you for trusting me in that season to grow with you, man,
yeah.
because your growth helped me in the area of my growth, and that was so important. Um, I want to read something else in your hearing, and this is going to kind of govern the rest of our conversation.
Okay.
Um, this comes from a soliloquy that you posted on social media.
Oh man, Lord, what iteration of me was this? Lord, I hope it was a. Let's
Uh,
all right. Let's hear it. Yeah.
Unbecoming to become.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, I kept that on there. That's probably the only thing I still have on my page from that era of
Okay.
me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it was, I think, a very pivotal era
Oh
in your
yeah,
life, right?
yeah,
Just
for sure.
if y'all get a chance, follow him on Instagram at Deniro Farrar, and scroll down to the bottom of his. It's the last entry or the first entry. I'm sorry,
Correct.
that's left on this page, and check out the entire piece called "Unbecoming to Become."
Yeah.
But I want to read this line. I can't unbecome the little boy that was crying at the top of his bunk bed, afraid to express the need for a distant stranger of a father.
Mm.
Let's talk about how that impacted you, um, and how it helped you to become various versions of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How it helped you to become the father that you are, and we're going to unpack that. How it helped you to become the man that you are. How it helped you to develop your personal standards, morals, and mores. Um, so let's talk about that
Yeah.
statement. Yeah.
I think that it's just like rap. And it's just like the statement you made after we talked about rap. Like that's your life.
Yeah.
Figuring it out, not having a blueprint. For some people, it's like I understand how pivotal it is to have that example, to have a blueprint. Like with my kids, right? It's like they're not gonna have to figure out a lot of the things I had to figure out, go through a lot of the things, or look for a lot of the answers I had to find on my own in order to get in, because they do have me as a blueprint. But it's almost like I feel like when God create people, He create people that He know need to go on these kind of long wolf figured out journeys. And that's been my whole life, from school to, from educating myself. That's literally been my whole. It's almost like He designed me not to have a dad. It was almost like you don't need a dad, you need a bunch of fathers.
Wow.
You're gonna pull from so many different places. You will be an amalgamation of all of those things,
Yeah.
but you don't need a dad.
Wow.
See, my kids have a dad, and they do have other male role models in their life, but I am their dad. They know I'm their go-to guy. I didn't have a go-to guy. So I went to this guy and I went to that guy. And as I got older, I realized like, oh, some of that information wasn't really valuable to me, but some of it was valuable. Even the stuff I didn't find valuable was valuable.
Yeah.
So that's really my life, man. Not having a dad made me the dad, made me the man that I am. And I almost needed to not have a dad in order to become me. If I had a dad, I wouldn't be me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about that journey and the stages of it. Some of the events,
Yeah.
some of the involvements um, that were integral in one, teaching you the life lessons that you benefit from now, but then two, important in molding and shaping you into the man you are.
Mm. Yeah, so you know what? I was thinking about it as you was talking. I was like, man, my first dad was like rap music.
Wow.
That was like my first dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the one that was what I listened to in order to posture in the world. That's how I got my posture in the world. That's how I presented myself, you know. And then the streets was like my second dad, you know. And I did have positive role models sprinkled throughout that, but they weren't consistent as my circumstance. My neighborhood was more consistent than anybody in my life because I was there every day. You know, I didn't spend every day with you until you let me move in with you. But before that, I had a whole life of every day. I used to come to church with black eyes and all that from fighting in my neighborhood, but that's where I was every day,
Yeah.
and so all of it was just so instrumental. Like
Yeah.
it really was. And a lot of people don't want to, I don't even think a lot of people are like cognizant enough to be like, man, who was my first father if I didn't have a dad?
Wow.
You know, music was it for
Yeah.
me. I'm telling you, man, music raised me. I
Yeah.
remember sitting in the house all day with music,
Wow.
all day with music. No parental guidance, music, man.
Wow.
My mom, she was dating a guy. He gave me a crisscross tape. I would sit and play it back to front, front to back, till it clicked. Then I turn it around and play it till it clicked. And I would just listen to it. And that is what kept me from roaming outside, turning the stove on, answering the door when I knew I shouldn't answer the door. It was just music. That was like my first dad.
Wow.
So I think about all of that, man. And it's really crazy, man. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta stop and talk about your older brother,
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah. Oh,
Man.
see, Mario is like Mario is my big brother, and then at a certain point, he became like a dad figure to me. That's when Mario transcended beyond being my big brother when he got out of the street. He was my big brother that, I got a problem, I'm gonna call my brother, or I'm in the neighborhood, they knew I was Mario brother. But he became a father figure when he started having kids and he got out of the street and he started managing that store in Carolina Place, not Carolina Place, Concord Mills,
Yeah.
Stride Right.
Yeah.
And I started to see him. This is a guy who had like 8 felony charges,
Yeah.
shooting in occupied dwellings and all kind of, my bad, Mario. He's so far removed from that guy.
Yeah.
It kind of blows my mind when I think about this guy.
Yeah.
So he's a person who, he don't be on camera and doing all that. But, his story is to be talked about too, because he is also a statistical anomaly, man, based on the way he lived his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Mario, man, Mario was like, Mario showed me the ropes on everything I knew in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I ever got a drug sale was Mario. Mario walked me through it. He showed me how to do it. He showed me how much I should get. He did all of that. First time I held a gun. Well, no, not the first time I held a gun, but a lot of those times it was like Mario showing me the ropes on all of this. But then becoming a man, he showed me like how to be present for a kid.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing it through you and through a couple other men I knew. But like I say, it was kind of like whenever I would see y'all were always acting role models in my life. But Mario was like every day I would see my brother. Then he got his son. Then he moved away to New York, but he was still such an active dad. Then he got married. He's the first one out of my mama kids to get married.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, he set a foundation. He's setting a standard,
Yeah.
And even now to this day, man, I go to New York just to see Mario. It ain't music related. I used to just do my press runs in New York, but now I go just to see Mario and my nieces and nephews and his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, he was instrumental in me becoming what I am.
Yeah. And that goes back to our theme of mentoring.
Yeah.
Right. How Mario stepped in. I don't even know how intentional it was.
Yeah, I don't even think you know what, with Mario, I think that Mario probably always had a desire to be the head of the household, because he was always like, Mario got a job at like 14, 15 at McDonald's, and he held it. Mario worked at McDonald's for like, man, for years as a young guy, and he was always about money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And standing firm. I never seen him back down. Mario was just like a Renaissance man. He could change oil. Mario always had a dog. Those types of men who always have dogs and change their own oil, and they could fight. That was Mario.
Yeah.
And I think that he did that so unintentionally.
Yeah.
I don't think he lived his life in that iteration intentional enough to know, like, man, whatever little bro watching me do, he gonna do it.
Yeah.
I think he was just living, man.
Yeah.
And I was absorbing and soaking it all up. And even when he got on the right track, he wasn't telling me, Tay, because I was still in the street. I didn't get out the street when he went legit. I was like, now it's wide open for me.
Right.
They
Right.
know I'm your brother. They know it's wide open for me.
Yeah.
And he never once was like, this what you need to do. He just lived. He was the example by living.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, even though I didn't take the path, I still watched it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was intentional how Mario walked into leadership. Nah.
But this is for the Charlotte audience, and I'm sure people who are watching from in other cities can identify with this. But specifically, that was kind of the culture of the West Side, right? You know, where older brothers, kind of good, bad, or indifferent, were the examples and patterns for their younger brothers, and to see how Mario positively impacted you and positively impacted so many others, is a credit to how, as Black men, we address the issue of fatherlessness by just stepping up and stepping in and being who we are authentically, and I see you doing that. I see you doing that with artists. I
Right.
see you doing that with other young men that you are in contact with. Most certainly, I see you doing that with your sons, and
Absolutely.
we're gonna talk about them a little later. You described yourself as an anomaly, and you are. Nick said something to me a few weeks ago. We were talking about you, and he said to me, "Pop, um, Tay is different." He said, "I can remember a time when we were younger, and he'd be wanting to send a text message to a girl, and he would have me to proofread it
Yeah.
to see if it made sense." And he said, "But now he's so well read and articulate, right? That you went from," and I say this in the most respectful way, you went from being virtually illiterate to being well read, articulate, and able to convey your thoughts in a way that are impactful to all who listen to you, not just your music, but through conversations, etc.
Absolutely.
Man, let's talk about that journey for you.
Yeah.
And what inspired you, what energized you to transform yourself intellectually.
Yeah. Man, I really do feel the foundation of all we're talking about is me blazing my own path. I didn't listen. I was the only one of my mama kids who dropped out of school and didn't go back. I just didn't. I really moved to the beat of my own drum, man.
Yeah.
I really did. I was like, man, I don't like systematic education. They don't teach me the way I learn. I'm a visual learner. Show me how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm a mimic guy. Show me how to do it. I could do it.
Yeah.
But they don't have time. With systematic education, they have a system. This is how we teach it. You get it, you get it. You don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't really subscribe to that. I was like, oh, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And I got old enough to drop out of school. I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. But I was getting affirmed, having street smarts, but then being someone who was like an avid reader at the same time. I was already an avid reader as a kid. I was sitting in that room and just read and read and read. I was academically gifted as a kid. They wanted to bump me up a grade. My mom just didn't really know how to, I don't really think she know how to help me hone in on what I was gifted with education-wise.
Yeah.
I was already a prolific writer. I remember they called her up to the school. They thought I plagiarized something, or they thought she wrote it for me.
Okay.
And they called her up to the school. She came up there. She was ready to beat me because she already, with them calling her, they was like, okay, what'd he do? And they was like, we just wanted to verify that you who helped him write this? And she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I ain't got time to do all that. You know
Wow.
what I mean? She
Wow.
was like, he did that,
Wow.
you know? And I was in elementary school.
Okay.
And I remember them wanting to bump me up. But I remember at a certain point being so consumed by my environment, education didn't intrigue me anymore. I used to be intrigued with learning
Wow.
and being, you know, but then in my neighborhood, because they used to say I talk like a white boy.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, why you talk like that? You know? And so it became it almost became like my life's duty to adapt to my environment. I wanted to be so street because I liked being smart when I was young,
Yeah.
you know, but the neighborhood just wasn't conducive for no kid who wanted to come and read a book.
Yeah.
Everybody was outside fighting, flipping on pissy mattresses. You know, they wanted to be outside, you
Yeah.
know. My brother outside setting the dumpster on fire. I wanted to read.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in the house. I wanted to do stuff like that. But my environment just wasn't conducive. Like with my sons, you know, the things that they're into, we just pour gasoline on that,
Yeah.
you know, but there was no one there to do that for me.
Yeah.
So like I say, I got consumed by the environment and education just wasn't a priority for me anymore. By the time I got to high school, it felt like something that they were forcing on me. And I knew I was going to drop out. I was like, man, I ain't with that.
Yeah.
Ended up dropping out, but I never stopped educating myself. I don't know why. I always had this yearning to be smart. I always wanted to know things. You know, I always was a very inquisitive dude. You say something, I'm like, what that mean? Oh, okay. You know? And so I was always, and I, like I said, I would get affirmed along the way. South by Southwest, we were standing outside. It's like 1:00 in the morning. Bossy them out there smoking. We drove a 15 passenger van down there. 15 of us from Charlotte. I'm with some unapproachable guys, man. You know, it's 1:00 in the morning. We standing outside in the middle of downtown Austin, Texas. A little white lady walking her dog. And I remember her seeing us, and I wanted to kind of tell them, kind of, you know, let her go through. You know, I'm thinking she gonna cross the street. She didn't. Walk right through us, you know. But she stopped and she looked at me and she started talking to me. And I asked her, I was like, you ain't scared? And she was like, scared for what?
Yeah.
And I was like us, like we, you know, it's late. You walking the dog by yourself, you know, you're an old little white lady.
Yeah.
And she said, well, if you've traveled the world like I have, which you will, you know, I remember her just zeroing in on me, which you will, then you'll understand there's nothing to be afraid of. People are people, you know. Here in America, when people die, they come and put a sheet over them. I've been in countries where when people die, the body just lays there until somebody come and get it. This is what she's telling me, man.
Wow.
So I've been affirmed along the way that I was on the right path, even when I didn't feel I was on the right path. I was always going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I meet people along the way, they give me a book. Hey, man, read this, you know?
Yeah.
And I always knew, like, seeds planted out of season ain't gonna harvest no fruit. So people was planting seeds in me and the fruit wouldn't harvest. But they it ain't their job to reap the harvest. Their job is just to plant the seed.
Yeah.
And then I got it. And that's how not listening got me here, man. For real. Being like, oh, okay, I ain't
Wow.
doing that. For real, man.
Not
Really did.
listening got you here.
Not listening got me here. I would never tell my kids that, you know? I
Yeah.
would never tell my boys that.
Why not?
Because because I a lot of stuff I figured out the hard way. And I don't feel that life has to be so hard. But I think when you don't know that life could be so easy, you make life hard.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I remember me and Nick having a conversation a long time ago about like girls and, you know, I remember him being like, hey, you know, he was really unconcerned about having a job at a certain point in time. He was like, man, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
You know, and we was young.
Yeah.
But I was always a hustler, you know? And I remember one time I pulled up to our church, I had $10,000 with me. First time I ever made 10 grand, I was riding around with it. You know, I
Yeah.
felt so accomplished.
Yeah.
I was riding around with an armrest and I pulled the armrest up. Y'all was selling plates.
Okay.
And I remember the lady who, I didn't even get the plate. I didn't even wait on the plate. I was moving so much. I remember the lady came over to the car and said, yeah, I want to buy a plate. And she was like, okay. And I remember pulling up the armrest and I pulled out all the money and I gave her the money. And Nick was like, man, where you get all that money from? And, you know, I told him. And just watching how his mentality shifted to, I want to go get some money. Like I want to go, I'm going to go get me a job. Cause I told him, I said, man, you know, one thing about dealing with women is women will like you, but they won't respect you if you're broke. You got to have some type of money. You don't
Yeah.
got to be rich. You just got to have something going for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember him coming to me years later like, cuz, man, I just always appreciate you saying that to me.
Yeah.
Cause I kept it real. And I was like, bro, that ain't like what it is.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I remember those pivotal moments in shifting certain things with even me and Nick having
Yeah.
certain conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was blazing his own trail too, because he ain't listening to me in the beginning. He was like, "Man, I don't care. I don't have to work." I was like,
Right.
"Whoa,
Right. So I'm gonna turn pop for a minute.
yeah,
Um, and this is just from my years of wisdom as a father. I understand what you're saying, that you wouldn't, why you wouldn't tell your boys um, that you got to where you are because you didn't listen.
right, yeah,
But they all have their own path,
right, yeah,
and,
absolutely,
and there will be something that they'll have to go through, they'll have to experience, that will cause them to have to listen to their inner voice.
absolutely,
And I think that's what you've done.
right,
You've listened to your inner voice, and um, just a bit of fatherly advice. They should be respectful, and they should be sponges um, in receiving what you say,
right,
but they should be guided by their inner voice. You contribute to it.
absolutely,
You contribute to the inner voice. Many times it'll sound like you. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll sound like them.
right,
But what I know is that you've given them, and I want to talk about that. You've given them such a wonderful foundation in giving them what you didn't have.
hmm,
And you were very intentional about being present,
yeah,
uh, being involved, and um, being real.
mm.
Like you are, as a father, you are one of the best dads that I've ever met.
Man, thank you,
And you are growing as a father as you're helping your sons grow.
absolutely,
So when I say that you give them the gift of being real, you've um, you've shown them what growth looks like and how to handle life as it comes at you. So let's talk about Sarge and Brent and Caden.
those guys, man. Yeah, no, and to your statement, right? I agree, right? It's like their own individuals, right? They so unique. The man, they so different. I was telling that to my partner back in Oregon. Mitch, he was sitting there watching me with him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, they're different, but they're all so different." And it's like, to your point, they all have their own paths, right? And the same with Joe, same with Nick, same with Chanel, right? Um, but I feel like with your coaching, because that's what I feel fathers are. We coaches, and we're coaches until we're always going to be coaches as long as they remain coachable,
Right.
but there's going to be audibles on the play that when they get on the court, you're like, hey, that is not the play I told you. They
Yeah.
got the play, but they're going to get out there and be like, but when I got in this situation, I felt that I should have did this in that situation. I
Yeah.
know you called the play, but this seemed more suited, like
Yeah.
in that moment, right? So I know we're gonna have those experiences, and I tell them all the time, man, the stuff that I'm telling you right now is to reverberate in your brain, because these experiences you haven't even experienced quite yet. I talk to them about sex. They're 12, 8, not Sergeant so much, you know what I mean? But, I have my own conversations with Sergeant, but I always, present myself in truth. I used to, before, I didn't cuss around them because I felt like they should never hear me cuss, but I was like, but I curse. But I'm not always cursing, right? But I do curse. And I used to keep that away from my kids. And I said, man, I don't want to die and my kids hear stuff about me. They'd be like, my dad?
Ooh.
Really?
Ooh.
Nah, man, he wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I want them to know.
Yeah.
I like when they hear the way I conduct myself when I do business.
Yeah.
You know, I like when they hear the way I conduct myself when I need to be protective. I like when they hear me conduct myself when I have to talk with Francesca and her and I, even if we have a disagreement,
Yeah.
right? Even when I got to reprimand them individually, they need to hear that. Just as a whole, they need those things as little guidance and little nuggets that when they run into those situations, oh, that's what my dad was talking about.
Yeah.
So everything I do is it's like for the long run. I'm planting those seeds right now. And it may not be the season to harvest the fruit from those things
Right.
that I talk to these kids about that, you
Yeah.
know? But yes, being a father is a long game, and I understand that. You know, me being present, it's a long game. Jermaine, it might have been Jermaine or Dame from No Grease. They told me, they said, man, your kids are gonna be older longer than they're gonna be younger. If you spend all of their young years spinning your wheels in the mud, brother, and not figuring out how to get out, when you need to be able to answer those hard questions, when you need to have that money for them to do that thing and you didn't, you wasted all of that time. Like, brother, I'm telling you, it's a long game.
Yeah.
So be thinking long. Be there when they're young, but those years are the formative years where they get the nurturing from their mothers, and they get to see y'all dynamic in the way you either parent or co-parent. But once they start getting to that age to ask them questions, man, that's when you need to be there to stand in. That's when you need to be there if you're going to have them full time. You need to have your life together.
Yeah.
And so you need to create your system so they can start plugging into it. So this summer is the first time I ever felt like now I got my system in place because they flew. I had the plane ticket. I had the return flight. I had the flight when they got there. They were unaccompanied minors. I didn't have to get on the plane with them. The whole system was just set up.
Yeah.
Plugged into it. They got their room. They got their clothes. They got their everything here in Portland. They got a whole life.
Yeah.
They got Francesca, our unit. So it's like, man, I'm really creating a system and it's long term,
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a verse in the Bible that says, train up a child in the way that he should go.
Yeah.
And when he's old, he won't depart from it.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I thought that meant that if you train a child correctly, that they'll never mess up. But that's not what it means.
Right.
It means that if you train them correctly, they will always return to their foundation.
Nice.
They'll always return to their core.
Nice.
And they will, by default, always walk in purpose. Always walk in purpose. You are very purposeful, especially in this season in your life. I've seen you be very purposeful, very intentional. How have you seen that purposefulness and that intentionality play out in Brent Caton and Sergeant's life? I guess what I'm asking is, what of yourself do you see in all three of them individually and separately, like differently?
Britain is like a really inquisitive kid, kind of nerdy too. You know what I mean? He's still into things that I'm like, bruh. He into anime and stuff like that. So me and Francesca talk. I tell her all the time. I'm like, okay, well, if kids gonna try to make fun of him because he might want to wear anime book bag, stuff like that. He always got to have the latest shoes. At least they'll be like, well, the kid dressed weird, but he always clean. I always keep him clean and groomed well. Because at the end of the day, that breeds confidence when you go into an education space as a young kid, where there's always, especially in urban environments, they always want to nitpick. Oh, you ain't got that. Oh boy, you need a haircut. Blah blah blah. So with Britain, I know that Britain is books, games, and like toys, stuff like that. And so I see that real inquisitive nature in Britain, and Britain is a people's person. Man, me and Francesca, we was at we be at the park or at the pool or anywhere. And we was at Great Wolf Lodge before they all went back. And so Britton will go off and do his own thing. And we looking for Britton. He in the wave pool, but we see him walk up to a kid and we see them shake hands. And I see him introduce himself. And then I just see him and the kid walk off and they start playing. Then he come back and say, hey, Dad, this is my friend. Blah, blah, blah. So that's me.
Yeah.
I was the people's person. Out of all my mama kids, man, I had that personality where I never met a stranger. Caden is extremely athletic. That's his world, He into himself now, so he got earrings, and he like, Dad, I want the Anthony Edwards. Caden is very image conscious, but he's a really smart kid though. Always on the AB honor roll, like always. That's Caden. So Caden is what I felt I would have been had I had not only a dad but also a mom who was in a position to, I guess, cater to the needs of me and had the capacity to do so.
Mhm.
My mama had 8 kids.
Yeah.
His mom just had another kid, Kane, maybe 3. So Caden got all of this attention and affirming 9 years.
Yeah.
So he's such a smart, sharp kid. He's so articulate when he speaks. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
damn, you said that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll say things when I ask him, how could I have handled that differently? And he'll tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you
Yeah.
know. And Sergeant, man, and he the baby boy, man. He's so honest. It ain't a lie in him,
Right.
And he'll do little things, and he's such a truthful kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That over the summer, when I get home, I don't know, this kid. Francesca say he's so scared of me, but when I got in the house, he did something wrong, and I came home, and the screen door was open, and I could see in the house, and I rung the doorbell because it was locked. And I seen him look at me, and he ran. I'm thinking he finna run to the door and open it.
Yeah.
Man, he ran right past the door, up the stairs to the room. I'm like, bro, you gonna leave me on the porch? So I came and so I was like, what's up with that? Francesca's laughing. She was like, he did something he had no business. He been nervous since he did it, knowing you was coming home. So I go up to the room and I sit on the floor. I'm like, what's going on, buddy? And he's like, oh, nothing. I'm like, why you look like that? Why you look like you want to cry? And he was like, well, because I'm nervous. I said, what are you nervous about? He was like, what did he say? He said, because I'm guilty.
Wow.
Yeah. I said, well, what are you guilty of? He said, I did something I wasn't supposed to do. So he's such an honest kid.
Yeah.
I didn't have that though.
Yeah.
I think internally I wanted to be honest, but the environment just wasn't conducive. You just gonna get beat all the time. So you might as well lie. You trying to not get a beating, but he's such an honest kid that I can't do nothing but respect it.
Yeah.
His honesty really shines a light on how honest I want to be as a human, as a man.
Yeah.
And he's such an honest kid, man.
Yeah.
And that's such an admirable quality. And he's creative. He can draw. Yeah, I mean, he's a model. He looks creative when they see this kid, the freeform wild locks. And he's really articulate too in how he expresses himself. So all of them got me in him.
I want to go back, especially to Caden.
Yeah.
And Sarge.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important for men to hear and to understand what I'm about to say. You are a perfect study in the phenomenon of being a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a point later on in your life that you were very fashion conscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By the time we at 54-1, that was you.
Yeah.
And I've seen you in particular in this soliloquy, Unbecoming to Become.
Yeah.
Be brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that just to say to the men watching, and perhaps even to those who are raising young men, that manhood is an ongoing evolution, and everyone does not reach specific points at a specific time.
Right.
And sometimes arrested development is literally the soils for late bloomers.
Right.
So, again, I'm just kind of being pop and saying that you did embody those things maybe later on in life, or you do embody those things. And I think that in and of itself makes you the father worth modeling your life after, because you're committed to growth.
Yeah.
You're committed to the evolutionary process of unbecoming so that you can become.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to celebrate you on that,
Thank you.
man. And
Yeah.
um, speaking of evolution and growth, I know that you have a strong spiritual foundation.
Hmm.
Um, and I say it jokingly, but I'm halfway serious when I say this. If there's one thing I regret, it is the fact that I wasn't able to do what the pastor in Portland did, and that was baptize you.
Mm.
Um, um, I know your spiritual journey. I know the conversations that we would have about the Bible, about Christianity,
Hmm.
about spirituality overall. And I know some of the questions that you had and some of the reservations that you had as it related to, not just Christianity, but I believe, religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about that and how
Yeah.
you arrived at the point that you're now.
I mean, to be honest, I'm still not like a religious guy. I'm not. It's like I don't follow religion. I genuinely feel like everything is going to go back to that initial thing of just following what I feel is true. Nobody, see, most of my homies who founded God, they went to jail, they went to prison, and they either became Muslim or they became devout Christians and got out in the world. And I watch them lose it all of that faith. I was like, man,
Wow.
y'all making me lose faith in the faith because y'all not really, and I'm like, how real is this stuff? It's just like people can put the God on and then take it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, and so that pushed me further away. But like I say, everything in due time, right? Me moving to Portland, it's just like you had ample time to baptize me.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have did that anytime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I would have went right back.
Yeah.
I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I had stayed away from church for so long, and I followed different paths. I went through that whole thing of the mala beads and the meditation and the chakras and the tarot cards and the oracles and the birth charts and all of that. And it's like you said before, raise a child up in the direction you want them to go, right? That foundation, man, my mama had that foundation so locked in. We didn't even know it. She had it so locked in, I hated going to church.
Yeah.
But I had something to come back. Man, I was literally the prodigal son for real. I left. I was like, give him a little half, man. I'm going to get on out of here.
Yeah.
And spunt it in the world.
Yeah.
And came back like, hey, I think I want to come back. And I got fully restored.
Yeah.
I got the jewelry, I got the robe, I just got fully restored. But I went out here and tried to figure it out on a spiritual level too. And so that's what it was. Moving to Portland isolated me from everything I thought I was. I didn't have a studio to go to. I didn't have nobody to shoot a video for me. I had no expectations of me as Deniro Farrar. I literally unbecame, right? And I started becoming more Dante. And I was like, man, what do Dante want to do for himself? What do Dante feel genuinely called to? I was like, Dante need to go back to church, And so Dante started going back to church.
Yeah.
I went through a few different churches. I got baptized at one of the churches. I'm still not there anymore. And I just enrolled into this E4 Academy that they got us for like up and coming prophets and pastors because they just convinced I'm a preacher, man.
Yeah.
They enrolled me in this program and I said yes because I thought it was like, a month or something. Man, it's 2 years, like seminary school.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going to take me. I'll
Yeah.
be 40 when I'm done.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going to take me.
Where would you like for it to take you?
I don't know. I don't have expectations. I feel like when I create expectations, it never works that way. Because I should be a billionaire for rap. I was so pure and true to it. I didn't have the expectations. I just, wherever it takes me, it just needs to it needs to be on the path of the least amount of resistance. That's why I know I'm going in the right direction. But if I start resisting against it too much and too many obstacles, I know life come with obstacles, but if it's too much, I'm like, that wasn't for me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
wherever it take me, hey, look, if it really take me in that direction and I got a church and I got this, I got that, I'm not gonna resist to it.
Yeah.
Music just opened up for me. And I didn't resist against it. I went towards it full throttle. And it opened up for me. And it put me in the 1% of people who got major label record deals and did things, millions of views, traveled the world because I just didn't resist. I said yes. And I went. I said yes to this. Thought the program was a few months, but it's 2 years. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I said yes because something in my spirit was like, just say yeah, bro. There's something there for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I don't know where it's going to take me.
Well, this is what I know about you, and we gonna conclude. You are so comfortable with becoming something and someone that you've never seen before.
Absolutely.
And I don't want you to lose that. Whatever you morph into will be exactly what you're supposed to morph into.
Absolutely.
One last question. What brings you the greatest joy and why?
Man, this is going to sound crazy, but through this conversation, it really did make me realize you sitting me here made me realize what I'm about to say. Not listening, man, brought me the greatest joy because I know I'm always on the right track, even when I don't feel I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Listening and moving to the beat of that drum, whatever that rhythm is, brings me the most joy because I know I'm going to figure it out. You said that to me earlier, man. You're going to always figure it out. And that brings me the most joy. And so that's more of an umbrella statement because as a father, I'm going to always figure it out. As an artist, as a man, as a partner, husband, son, I'm always going to figure it out. That brings me the most joy, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm always figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know this, the whole John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. But there are a few verses before that where Jesus says, the wind blows and you don't know where it's coming from, neither do you know where it's going.
Yeah.
Then he says, such are those who are born of the Spirit. That's your life.
Yeah. I like that.
That's your life.
I
and
like
I'm
that.
proud to be a part of it. And I'm grateful that you allow me to be along for the ride.
Yes, sir.
All right, family. Again, this is Kevin L. Long, and we thank you for joining us for this episode of Long Story, Short Conversations, where we learn lifelong lessons for a life well lived. And today, Deniro Farrar has given us lifelong lessons for a life well lived.
Yes, sir.
Love you, man.
Thank you, man. Love you too.
Thank you.
Hey, you should have bought them flowers in there that I bought you.
Yeah.
I bought you real flowers, man. Nah, don't show them. They all dried up now, man.
No, you said it now. You said it now.
Hey, just know that they was in way better shape. But them things that wilted away. Then I had the top down in the car, man.
Yeah. God. Yo, he gave me flowers, and I said, "Well, you gonna give me flowers while I live?" He said, "No, that ain't the whole thing." He said, "I'm just gonna give you the flowers." And so I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put it in the water and try to revive.
Please do something, man. Right. I love you though, man. Thank you.
Love you more.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.